I want to begin with this. Tonight's phrase comes from the great Kenny Rogers. I should say late, great Kenny Rogers. Know when to fold 'em. In life and in your career, we all wish we could go on forever, but we all know we cannot. But the real trick is knowing when to exit before you are told to get out. Even the most successful, even for the most famous, a day comes when you just know it's time to hang it up. Knowing when to exit the stage gracefully is not only better for you, it's actually better for your family, oftentimes your team, your company, your country. All right, let's think about the past. Some great leaders. America had turned off LBJ after Vietnam and the civil rights strife. He knew another term was not in anybody's interest. Remember?
I cannot disregard the peril to the progress of the American people. I shall not seek, and I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president.
And he's right, he wouldn't have won. Look at Richard Nixon. He was overwhelmingly re-elected, then overwhelmed with scandal. While he was willing to fight, and he could fight, he decided to do what was right.
I have never been a quitter. To leave office before my term is completed is abhorrent to every instinct in my body. But as president, I must put the interests of America first.
So he was gone, Ford was in. Think about athletes, all-time greats. They knew they probably could play a little longer, but wanted to leave with grace, still on the top of the leaderboard.
And so, I played my last game of ball.
I haven't been able to run as good as I used to, or hit and throw, and the young kids are just getting a little bit too fast for me.
So they left. And then there are the actors, the entertainers who knew when it was time to take their final bow on different shows.
I knew what we were doing was good. I didn't think we could sustain the quality of it. I liked the Honeymooners too much than to just throw it away.
But there's that moment when you're on stage when you just feel, and you learn, it takes years to learn it, that this is the moment. And you just get off stage then, and the audience, and they get excited.
Yeah. Perfect. Regardless of age or career, when the greats knew they really had no more to give, they stepped aside. Now fast forward to today. 89-year-old Senator Dianne Feinstein, who has served in public office for over 80 years, often in bipartisan ways, is clearly not capable of continuing on for the state of California or for the country. Everyone but her seems to understand this, but because the senator hasn't left the scene, Democrats, for example, on the Judiciary Committee are having trouble getting anything confirmed or anyone.
I haven't made that decision. I haven't released anything. It will be my plan. You put out the statement?
She's totally confused. Well, she was asked to temporarily be replaced on the committee instead of walking away, opening up a seat for someone else. She still plans to wait out her retirement. That's a whole year away. Whose interest is that in? Hers. 81-year-old Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is in the same boat. No plans to retire and has announced he'll be back on Monday after a 5-week absence due to a concussion sustained after a fall, with many Republicans already grasping for votes in the Senate. It's no wonder there are reports of GOP jockeying for his senior post. Newly elected 53-year-old Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman is making his return to the Senate. It'll be next week after missing months due to clinical depression. This on the heels of a campaign riddled with health issues and major flubs.
What qualifies you to be a U.S. Senator? You have 60 seconds.
Hi. Good night, everybody.
Enough said. The state of Pennsylvania deserves more than a prospect of an absent senator for 6 years, don't you think? When it comes to an 80-year-old commander-in-chief, Joe Biden, let's put him front and center. He won't officially commit to running again, planning to run for another term, regardless of how many gaffes he doles out, how many press scrums that he avoids, and at times how detached and confused he seems to be.
I said, Pop, what do you worry about? He said, you're too much like that guy who led the revolution instead of the guy who was the prime minister. I said, he said, you got to be less like the military guy. They shot him.
You see this tie I have with a shamrock on it? This was given to me by one of these guys right here. Was a hell of a rugby player, and they beat the hell out of the black and tans. Oh, God, it was but it was when you were at a Soldier Field, wasn't it, the game? Chicago.
Wow. He meant to say the All Blacks, New Zealand's national union rugby team, not Britain's infamous military unit. Look, I'm not poking fun. I respect the years of service these people have put in. And I'm not talking about age. Tom Brady, look what he did in his 40s in a tough position like quarterback. Bernie Sanders seems fine. I'm talking about effectiveness. Effectiveness to do your job, to run your company, to shine for your team, and lead this great nation. You need to know when to fold them. And if not, have someone you trust tell you. Joe DiMaggio, LBJ, Jackie Gleason are examples of people who knew when to say when. They knew it was not about them, it was about the team, the country. We will find out shortly if these lawmakers are getting the signals necessary, if they have the people in their life to tell them the truth.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.